much. That was so lovely. Thank you, Master. We love you. We love your seva. We look forward every time to see you. Um, my dear Holy Family, welcome to another holy day in Holy Father God, where we all gather in the satsang of our perfect living Master, Ishwar Puri Ji. We gather in His love. We gather to remember the deep root of our being, the presence of the Lord, to give ourselves to the one who already owns our breath and our moments, to touch base with our inner core, to touch base with love, to feed our soul with the love of God, the love of the Master, and His presence among us. As all the saints and masters say, where two or more gather in my name, there I am. Here, when we touch base with love, we touch base with infinity, with our infinite self, that is all knowledge. Our self is all knowledge. We not only learn, but we touch the base of infinite happiness. As it is, this infinite happiness is in ourselves. It's in our deep core. It's in our soul. And this infinite happiness is the love that hides deep within us. We gather here in the name of the Master to touch the love, to bring the infinite happiness in us, and to live in this world as infinitely happy. And how do we live in infinite happiness? We have to raise our consciousness. We have to raise our awareness to where we can be in touch with the infinite happiness that lies in us and that is omnipresent and cannot be found from the outside world, but it is hiding inside us, and we have to come up here to the third eye center where we can touch love, where we can feed on love, where we can become love, and where we have touch with our inner Master that is full of love, and He guides us to the planet of love, to the well and bottomless well of overflowing love. That in order for us to become infinite love, infinite happiness, to live in this world with infinite happiness, we have to get rid of fear. And we have to become fearless. So what is fear? Fear is not knowing and to be uncertain about the future. Not knowing the future is fear, brings fear. And everybody in this world, 99% of the people, they live in fear. And why do they live in fear? Because they have not touched their intuitive self. They have not come in touch with their soul, and they live the life of the mind, body, and intellect. Too much thinking brings fear. When we think too much, when we analyze too much, it brings automatically fear in us. So I'm going to talk about a little bit about fear and how to become fearless. How to become fearless and how to get rid of fear. As fear, like the therapist, the psychologists of today, they use the mind and intellect, time and space, methods from time and space and time and intellect, how to get rid of fear. And they tell their patients, they have like two methods they usually use that they teach their patients, and that is like they try to see why the person has fear, maybe from a trauma that he experienced in childhood. This trauma could even be from the past lives, but they don't know. They think it's only from this life, as they are limited. They are limited within the mind, time, and space, and they try to like repeat words that touch, and they have like all these monitors on the patient to see like if the word father or the word mother or the word brother it changes the way they feel when they mention these words, and to link it to some childhood trauma, and then to relive this trauma. And then when you relive the trauma and you know what's causing your anxiety, what's causing your fear, then that way you can like get rid of it to a certain extent. Another way is that they go into the subconscious. They go into the subconscious and the dream, and they see symbols in the dream. They see symbols in the dream, like if something is threatening you and you dream of that, like a knife or something, that could be linked to a trauma that happened to you in the early childhood, and you have experienced that trauma. So they bring that trauma up through dreams, and they talk about it and they analyze it, and then in this way the patient can be relieved because he knows from where that fear is coming. But there is a third way and a much better way than these two methods that the therapists and psychologists of today don't know, and that is tapping into our intuitive self. To tap into our intuitive self, that totally removes the experience of fear, and you don't have to relive it. You don't have to relive that moment that caused fear in your life. And that is when we tap in our soul, in love, and in our intuitive self, and in consciousness, and it removes fear automatically. In this way, we become fearless by tapping into our higher self, our God self, our love self. It brings fearlessness without having to analyze steps, without saying, there is like 15 steps to get rid of fear, or 20 steps to get rid of fear, or because then we are using our mind. Mind is time and space, and we are thinking. When we think, that doesn't really help much. We have to just raise our awareness to the soul level, so automatically we will become intuitive. When we become intuitive, that means God is working in us. So we have to make God work in us more and more and more. And how do we make God work in us more and more and more? There are ways, of course, and that is meditation, self-introspection, coming up here to the third eye center and sitting with Master, with God, with our inner Master, as much as possible. When we sit here as much as possible, then our intuitive self increases, and our mind, body, and our mind and intellectual self that causes fear, that causes worries, that causes problems, slowly, we get rid of it. As when we become more intuitive, like there is a hunch in us, and that hunch tells us, like, don't do this or do that. So when we meditate more and more and more and more, and get in touch with the Shabd, which is the creator of all this universe, the holy light, the holy sound, automatically our intuitive self increases. That means when our intuitive self increases, that means soul and God are making the decisions. Soul and our inner master are making the decisions for us. And in this way, we lose our fear. Like, for instance, I'll give you an example. A few days ago, the tornado happened here in Chicago. I was supposed to go to work. It was a Monday. But some inner feeling in me said, don't go to work. Don't go to work. It was a feeling that I can't go to work. Something is holding me. My soul is not allowing me to go to work. I trust that intuition, so I didn't go to work. And then I said, okay, I'll meditate. And then I was meditating, and then the alarm started going that there is a tornado happening. My windows were open, so I ran to my windows. I closed my windows, and then all Chicago was littered with debris and fallen trees and all that. And that would have been like a nightmare to work, and I would have probably left my windows open because it's summertime, and all the water and everything would have came inside my house. So that inner feeling told me, don't go to work. And that inner feeling is the feeling that came from intuition. It came from soul. It came from God. It came from my inner master. They did not allow me to go to work. And this is what we have to develop. That once we start to think about something and use our mind, should I, shouldn't I, should I, shouldn't I, that is totally from mind. Mind only looks at, I said before, at only part of the picture. It looks at a small part of the picture and doesn't look at the whole picture. Yet soul, intuition, God, and the inner master come from the experience of many lives since the beginning, since the time we were created. And then it makes a decision based on that. It gives you the right information. So what is a hunch? A hunch is a feeling that comes right away. Do it or don't do it, And then if you listen to that hunch and go with it, then you will be less and less fearful. You will be more in touch with reality, more in touch with what makes you happy, what makes you infinitely happy. And then when you meditate more, when you come to satsang, when you listen to the holy light, to the holy sound, and you increase Master daily in you. You increase the power of Master in you on daily basis as you feed on the manna of life, as you drink the water of life that give you eternal happiness. Then slowly, 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 the mind will be subdued. Why? Because soul, God, and Master will have a foot on the mind that causes all problems, all worries, and all trauma, and all fear. And when I talk to my mom every day, she has fear in her voice, because she doesn't know. She's not sure. She doesn't know what's going to happen in the next moment, and she's always praying for me, lighting candles and asking God to help me. And, and I'm like, Mom, I have Master, but she doesn't understand that part. That He's always with me. He's always protecting me. As in my work, sometimes I go to the worst neighborhoods in Chicago, where there are gangs, killers, and I transport them. They come with me. But am I scared? Am I fearful? No. I have Master with me all the time. So when we increase our meditation, when we increase the presence of Master and God in our life, and we become fearless, we know that He is here with us. I know He's driving with me. I know He's with me 24/7. And who's gonna scare me when the King of Kings is with me? So I'm never scared. Like 2 days ago, like I was in a very, very, very bad neighborhood, and there were gangs stopping the road and talking to each other, and I was behind, and I wanted to pass, but they did not let me pass because they have their big egos. That we are something. Maybe they have guns with them, and they think that the gun is giving them power. So I waited 2 minutes, and then they did not move. So then I flashed my lights, and I honked my horn very gently, and then they did not like it. They got really mad, and the guy put his car in reverse, like he wants to bump my car. And what I did, I just repeated Simran, and then something changed. He started going forward. He went to the side. I passed, and then I looked a little bit. I shouldn't even have looked, because then they wanted to follow me, like they wanted to stop me, and he said, "Hello, stop!" And then he went after me, and then I repeated Simran again, and then they changed directions. So the protection of health, the protection of God is always with me, and I feel it. I feel it 24/7, and everybody can develop that just by having faith in the Master and having full faith in the Master. 2 days ago, I was doing my jogging. I was running and doing my 2 miles, and I was singing the song. Oh my Savior, dear God, oh my Savior, dear God, each moment I need thee. And I was singing this song, and then I fell. My foot stumbled, and I fell, and then while I was falling, I repeated Simran. I felt like that. I felt like boom, like Abuzi, and there was no pain. Nothing happened to me. The only thing was that my arms became hot because of the fall. So this is just the grace. This is just the protection of the Master that He gives to His lovers all the time. And if you increase your devotion and love for Master, which comes from Him, but you have to put your attention on Him first. You put your attention on Him first, and then directly the flow of devotion increases in our heart, in our soul. And when the flow of devotion increases, that means our soul is becoming stronger, our mind is becoming less, and we become automatically fearless as we touch the core of love inside of us. And that is infinite happiness. And this infinite happiness increases and increases. And I'm yet to know, by the grace of Master, how it will become when I develop more spiritually. When I develop more spiritually, grow more in God, then that infinite happiness, I'm sure the saints and masters say that it's like a floodgate that opens and just drenches us, and with the inner music, with the inner happiness, with the happiness of the Lord will become our happiness. And that is yet to come in the future. And I can't wait to that moment when I develop more in God, and I touch base more in love, touch base more in the infinite love, and becomes happier and happier as days go by in this world. So this is my introduction for today about ways to become fearless and to be eternally content to be eternally content when we know ourselves, and ourself is all knowledge, and it is not outside. It is not outside, it is inside of us. This happens automatically when we develop our love and devotion. Love and devotion brings everything. It opens the floodgates. Oh, there is a story. I wanted to tell you this story about during Saint Kabir's time. The people used to meditate a lot, uh, and uh, and uh, and there were 1,500 meditators that came from their huts to Saint Kabir, and they sat in a hall and they asked Saint Kabir to talk to them. However, there was also another holy person, Mirabai, and they did not ask her, and Saint Kabir did not like it. When he came into the hall, he said, "Where is Mirabai? I don't see Mirabai. I want Mirabai to be here. I only see 1,500 male egos, and I won't talk until Mirabai comes." So they sent a message to Mirabai, and Mirabai came. And when she started repeating her devotional songs, her devotional poetry that she wrote for her master and for God, all of these, all of these meditators went to shame when they felt her love and devotion for her master that was concrete, that was full, that was, they felt ashamed because they did not have it, and they ran back to their huts because they were jealous. They wanted to become like Mirabai. They wanted to develop that love and devotion moment by moment as it grows and grows and grows and grows. And Saint Kabir says, you know, I am Moti, I am God's dog. I am God's dog. I am God's slave. I do everything for my master, for God. That's how, that's how, if we become like that, and if we aspire to become like that, like Kabir said, that's it, Kabir said, God's dog, you know, that's much how much love and devotion he has, as the dog is always looking for his master, as the dog is always, you see the dog when the master is not there, the owner of the dog is not there, the dog is always sitting on the window waiting for his owner. And when he sees his owner, his dog starts wagging and wagging and wagging. And that's how we are, the devotees of the perfect living master. We are like dogs because when we see the master, our tails start wagging and we start to be happy, and our souls start to make somersaults, summer somersaults when we see the master. So, oh yeah. So now I'm gonna welcome my dear sister Jaspreet, and I can't wait to listen to her story.